Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor. Garalith is saying hello as well. We're really excited to be here because now we are ready to finish the storyline of Angmar Reborn after finishing the raid, after getting into Wathrenost, rescuing Crannog and destroying the Shard of Tauresar. So now we just need to talk to Soltak to continue the quest. Let's hear it.
We returned to Bailavark. I heard shouts celebrating that the Bodrylon were freed from the Shard's enchantment.
How glad I am to see you again, Beriathan. Nekton and I were able to escort Crannog out of Wathrenost, but I regret that we could not aid you in the last fight against the Iron Crown. You need not tell me of your success, though, for there are none in Angmar who do not know of it. By the time we returned to Bailavark, I heard shouts celebrating that the Bodrylon were freed from the Shard's enchantment. They cast down their weapons and walked out of Carndum. My tribesmen, of both tribes, have returned to their families and loved ones, and it seems this terrible nightmare is at an end. I can hardly believe it, but the Iron Crown is no more. You are a true friend to the Trév Gállorg. Alrighty, now we need to talk to Crannog, but before we do, we can actually complete some of these side quests that we have.
Speak and I will listen.
You have done us a great service, Beriathan. With the battle against the Iron Crown won, I hope we shall never need fear their return. None among the folk of Angmar shall forget your deeds. So we got some extra goodies, 2000 virtue XP. Awesome. Innocence is level 56. That is great. Some extra runes as well. That is amazing. We got a weekly, alright. Now, okay, here we have Wraith.
Evil has returned to Carndum.
You have done well, Beriathan. With each banner we burn and each symbol of the Witch King we cast down, the grip of the Iron Crown loosens. That's as much as we could do on the last one. As you can see here, we still need to free some hillmen and collect scrolls of Forgotten History. But I don't know how much, when will I have the opportunity of doing the raid again. So I think we can safely cancel these quests for now, because well, yeah, it's gonna take a while before we can get to it. But at long last, here we have Crannog.
After Tirith was cast down, I wish to believe that the Iron Crown fell with him. That is rarely the case, isn't it?
Welcome, Beriathan. I am glad to see you again, and in not so dire a circumstance. Crannog coughs, still clearly recovering from his imprisonment. Do not worry yourself on my account, my friend. Many of my wounds will heal in time, and those that might not will at least be soothed by a fine feast. After Tirith was cast down, I wish to believe that the Iron Crown fell with him, but that is rarely the case, isn't it? Always there are those who cling to power, unwilling to face their own weakness. With your help, we have cast off the last of the sad legacy of the Iron Crown. After so many long years, we are free of the Witch King and his servants. But now we must decide what will become of Angmar. A very interesting question, too.
It has been many years since the Trév Gállorg and Trév Duvárdain last spoke beyond their duties to the rights of old. Perhaps it is time that changed.
Alright, now we are level 57 for Innocence. That's good. It has been many years since the Trév Gállorg and the Trév Duvárdain last spoke beyond their duties to the rights of old. Perhaps it is time that changed. Crannog appears to ponder for a moment and then turns his attention back to you. Let us send word to all of the Trév Gállorg and Trév Duvárdain, but be they outcast or not. We will meet at Fela Crow once more, but we do not meet to undertake the rights of old. For too long the shadows of Angmar have cast a darkness between us, and it is time that ended. We will meet to parley and settle what we may with the Trév Duvárdain. Although the title of High Chieftain has been left vacant, The Trév Duvárdain are the ruling tribe and I will not call another Clucath after all that happened. Whether they choose to heed my words or not is their choice to make, and no matter the answer, I will honor it. But I will not squander the moment that has been set before us, Beriathan. Angmar stands on the cusp of its rebirth, and it will be our lands that shape it, not those of the Witch King, nor those of the Iron Crown. It is time we set out, Beriathan. Won't you come with us? Sure thing, let us go.
Would you accompany us to Fianna-Crow? It is a long journey from Beriathan, but you've come this far, haven't you?
Yeah, we have come this far and we already know the way anyway. So let us go.
In the aftermath of the siege of Carndum and the destruction of the Shard of Taurisar, hillmen of the last great tribes of Angmar, the Trév Gállorg and the Trév Duvárdain, have gathered to parley at Fianna-Crow. As the Iron Crown falls and the shadow of the Witch King fades at last, a new day dawns across Angmar.
Alrighty, so now let's talk to Crannog then. But I don't know, we might take a couple pictures in here. It seems like a very important moment, a very transcendent time for the people of Angmar. So I think this should be properly registered in in my archive. It's looking really good. I'm a big fan of this new Crannog model. You can see the wear after spending all that time in Carndum, but you can still also see the power he had when we first met him more than 500 episodes ago. That's crazy.
Come, we'll have a word with you.
You are welcome among us, Beriathan, but this is a matter we must see to ourselves. There has not been such a parley between the Trév Gállorg and Trév Duvárdain in many years, and I do not know what it would mean for either of our peoples. I have not forgotten the misdeeds of the Trév Duvárdain under Domangard's rule, but Soltak was among them and he has changed. Though he is Trév Gállorg now, in truth, he is of both tribes, and that gives me hope that we might one day unite again. It has been long enough. It is time, my friend. Talking. What did you tell this guy?
Today we have gathered to Fianna-Crow, not as Trév Gállorg or Trév Duvárdain, but as men of Angmar. Nay, men of Eoredir. For too long we have lived in the shadow of the Witch King. Our ways, our language, and our fates were all but stolen from us. Enough has been said of the long years of animosity between our peoples. But we must not forget what came before. Once, we lived in kinship, and our tribes were as one. I cannot pretend that my words alone will soothe the many wounds we have dealt one another over the years. I will not plead for peace, nor will I forgive without condition. Soltak has proven himself among the Trév Gállorg, and the change I have seen in him gives me hope that there is a new path to be taken. Let us walk it together for Eoredir!
As some of the Trév Duvárdain step forward to speak, the parley begins in earnest. Alright. Many voices were heard as the parley continued. As the hours wore on, it seemed that ground was gained and lost in equal measure. To the surprise of many, old wounds began to give way to new understandings. And at last, the parley was ended. As the parley concludes, Crannog gestures for you to speak with him.
Greetings!
It is ended, Beriathan. It lasted longer than I expected, and shorter than I expected, but we'll get to that in a moment. But that is not unwelcome. Much remains to be settled in the days to come, but we will meet and overcome those challenges. The Trév Duvárdain have splintered, but I do not begrudge them their use of that name. It belongs to them, and I will not take it from them. Whether our tribes will unite in kinship as we did long ago remains uncertain, but that is a question for another day. Let us rejoice in our freedom.
Come, my friend, let us return to Alkyra. It will do my heart good to see it once more.
Oh, you're gonna take us to Alkyra. I would very much love that. Please. And I will get to that in a moment as well. Oh, awesome. We are there. How long has it been since last time we were here? I don't remember exactly if we came here when we were doing the first book of Volume 3, Gathering the Great Company, Halbrad. No, we didn't come to Angmar, but we had to pass through O'Hare, technically, to get from Estelin to Angmar and to Garthfornir to gather Golodir and Coronir, so it's not been as long as I initially thought, but it is for certain has been a long time. Okay, and they are not inside town. Makes sense. It's easier to have all these happen outside town, I guess. Okay, I see them here. From atop a cliff, Crannog and Soltak look out upon Angmar. And this is such a nice view as well. Maybe we can, well, we can take another picture of ourselves and Crannog. I've forgotten where my emotes were. God, it's been so long. But here we are. Let's talk to Soltak and then I will give you some of my thoughts on all this.
Crannog told me long ago that I would know when I had fulfilled my fame. It is done, my friend. And
there you are, Beriathan. So much has happened and it is hard to speak to all of it. The Iron Crown is defeated, our people are free, and Yarandir is truly our land once again. After the parley, I now believe that there might be some measure of peace to be found between the Trév Gállorg and the Trév Duvárdain. It will not be perfect, for nothing is, but it is the start of something new and that is enough. Crannog told me long ago that I would know when I had fulfilled my fame. It is done, my friend, and I could not have done it without you. Glad we could help, as usual. Now, if Crannog...
It is a new day, my friend. Yarandir is our land, and our fates are our own.
It's a shame he wouldn't turn to talk to us so that we could take a great picture with Angmar's skies behind us, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense for Crannog to stop looking at his land just to talk to us, I guess. It is beautiful, is it not? If I am not mistaken, the skies seem clearer this day than they have been since the days of my youth. As I said to you once, it is the place of a chieftain to direct his people to do great things, even in the face of danger. Many steps still remain on your path, but to guide you, I bestow upon you a new fame. Crannog whispers in your ear. I am certain you will fulfill it, Beriathan. If ever your path leads you back to Yarandir, you are welcome among us. It is a new day, my friend. Yarandir is our land, and our fates are our own. But what is my new femme? Ah, okay, Crannog whispers in your ear, so you can make that femme whatever you like. Okay, that's a very nice detail, I guess. Awesome! Let's take a look at all this in here. So we have completed Angmar Reborn, Chapter 5. We have completed the deed, Angmar Reborn. We have the new title, Llaugh. Some virtue XP. Innocence is now level 58. And Essence. Some extra goodies. Innocence is level 59. The Tracery. The Ancient Script. Looks all really nice. And the title, Llaugh. What does that mean? You have done much to aid the Hillmen of Angmar in their efforts to cast off the oppressive rule of the Iron Crown. For your deeds, you have been named a hero in the language of the Hillmen. Llaugh. Alright. Awesome. That's amazing. I really like this one. And with that, we have reached the end of this storyline. Once again, there is a little detail I am surprised about and I'm pleased as well, and is the double meaning that this Angmar Reborn title has. On one hand, goes to show the reborn of the Witch King's forces in Khazad Dûm and the evil that we thought defeated so many episodes ago. On the other hand, and the twist to all this story is now that this evil has been defeated, Angmar has been reborn once again as Yarandir, the land of the Hillmen. And I think this is a really nice twist on the title, a really great spin, and a way to add meaning to it. I think I had already discussed with you one of the theories of Ricardo Piglia, an Argentinian writer, that all stories have two plots: the superficial plot, the one that you see, that one that you are being told, and the secondary plot that contains the true meaning of the storyline. And once again, we see this fulfilled with this Angmar Reborn storyline, and I gotta say, I really like this ending a lot. It's quite open. Not all things have to be really conclusive, but it leaves the door open for the rebuild of Angmar on the hands of Crannog and the other Hillmen. A very hopeful ending that goes very well with the moment in time we are at. Now that Sauron has been defeated alongside the Witch King and Gothmog, there are not as many evils in the world as before, so the Fourth Age, not only for Gondor and Rohan, but for these Hillmen as well, is a promise of hope, really, as we were discussing. So I really like this ending for that. But what I didn't like so much was that we really didn't get to see a lot of the parlay. We didn't get to see the Trév Gállorg and the Trév Duvárdain coming to terms and seeing what things did they agree with and what things they didn't agree on. And I think that was a missed opportunity in there. Of course, if you remember the way in which this storyline and came to be, you will understand why that happened. But you gotta remember, Gundabad was released towards the end of 2021, and after the release of Gundabad, which was update 31, I believe it was, we got update 32, which was the Angle, we got update 33, which was Yonder Shire, and we got update 34, that was before the Shadow, and all those updates were adding content to low-level areas. So for a little bit more than a year, all that a level cap players had was Gundabad and the instances in Gundabad, and there was a drought of group content and new endgame content, and that is what this storyline came to solve with the addition of the instances, the Poison Gardens, the Apothecary, Sagrath, and the Raid. So of course the storyline was built to serve the addition of those new instances. And I'm no expert, and I might go on a limb with this, but I think it's safe to assume this entire update 35 and these instances was done rather quickly as a way to answer to all the critics the endgame players had about the state of the game. So they really needed to finish this fast to get the instances out. And after finishing the storyline and after taking the players through every instance, I think it's also safe to assume that the LOTRO team was really short on time regarding getting the finishing touches on all this. And that's why this conversation between the Hillmen was cut in such a way, and it's kind of weird, because I also think in other circumstances we would have gotten a longer instance with a little bit more of dialogue, or even a quest or two in which we help the negotiations going between the Trév Gállorg and the Trév Duvárdain. Like, they are asking for this, we can give them this, but we cannot give them this, and let's find a middle ground. It felt a little bit anticlimactic for me that all that happened off camera and with just a few lines of narration. I think, yeah, they dropped the ball a little bit in there, but once again, the reason why is because they had to do this update really quick, and the focus of this update was on the instances. The storyline, of course, was interesting, and I also appreciate that we got to close the loose ends that we left from Gundabad with Azahal and Clagward, and the dwarf, God, I forgot his name, but we got to finish that storyline. We got to see another one of the Vandasari and learn what happened to it, and we will be talking more about the Vandasari in the coming episodes, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to explain that to you. But yeah, I enjoyed the storyline, and I think, yeah, that they did a great job of closing those loose ends, because this is another consequence that comes from the Gundabad days. Once again, I don't know the full details, but before the development of Gundabad was finished, one of the devs left, is Standing Stone Games, and she, I think, was the one in charge of creating the instance of the Dwarfspire that never came to pass. So all that was supposed to happen in there was instead repurposed for this Angmar Reborn storyline. So that's another reason why towards the end of it, the negotiations between the Hillmen might seem a little bit rushed, because, well, they were just fixing some of the issues they had for the last year. But even with all that, there are still many things to enjoy with this storyline, and even if it's a short one, I think there's plenty to like. And we of course have the instances, which are really fun. I have not run them as much as I would like, but I still have done it a couple times, and I have had fun with them. So I think their goal was fulfilled on that regard. And the critique I have about the ending and the negotiations, well, it's a valid critique in my opinion, of course, but it's a small part of what makes this whole. And the other big point of update 35, at least for me, was the Warden revamp, which didn't disappoint. I enjoyed it a lot. And even though it's been a couple months since I did the first couple episodes of this entire storyline, I still remember talking to you a lot about that and how I was enjoying the new Warden. And that, coupled with the storyline that we got, tying up the loose ends and the new instances, makes it a fine addition to the game in my book, and one that I'm glad I played through and was able to finish before moving on to the next thing. And what is that next thing, you might be asking? It's not as simple as it sounds, because update 36 that was released after this one is King's Gondor. So we are heading back to Gondor eventually, and I'm super excited for that because I have not played through King's Gondor with any character. I'm going fresh through it. I don't know what to expect, but it's very special for me that I get to return to Gondor and experience all this for the first time with Beriathan. So I hope you will join me on that journey. But, and this is the reason why I was happy to be taken back to Ogier in here, I think as excited as I am to get there, I'm gonna take a little quote-unquote break before going to King's Gondor. And here's what's gonna happen. All this I'm gonna tell you is gonna be entirely optional. If you're not interested in watching what I'm about to tell you, you can just skip to the Gondor episodes when I release them. But if you are interested, then just stick around, because I'll need to zoom out for this. Angmar and Forohel are really close by. In fact, if you go to the map of Forohel, you will see here the Iron Pass, the Iron Span, that is supposed to take you to Angmar. It's just that there is a big gap between the two zones that has not been filled in-game, but we can headcanon that we are doing this. So what's the plan? What's my role playing through all this? Beriathan will receive a mail. In fact, I really should get to showing that mail to you if you give me just a moment. I lost it, but I have a copy saved in here somewhere. But Beriathan receives a mail asking him to go back to Gondor, and even without the mail, he would go back to Gondor. There's nothing else left for him to do in here. But since he's going back home and doesn't expect to come back to the north for a long time, a visit to Annúminas is in order, even if it's just to see the city one last time, the city of Elendil, before going back home. A visit to Annúminas is in order. And one way of going to Annúminas is, well, going to Forohel and then going south to Evendim. We can also go south to Fornost and then to Evendim, but we need to make some compromises in here to make this work. So what I'm gonna do, there is a short storyline in Forohel that we have not completed because it was not in-game by the time I played through Forohel. But I still think that storyline in particular doesn't fit the Forohel storyline during Volume 1. It's all kind of clunky to me, but we'll discuss that in more detail when we get there. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're going back to King Arvedui, and we're gonna do the quest line detailing the Helkesar, which is another one of the Vandasari. So as you see, we'll get to discuss all this in bigger detail later. This particular quest line was introduced with update 29, the Wildwood, a couple years ago. But once again, in my book, it doesn't fit during the Volume 1 storyline, so we need to find a place to fit this one. And I have thought a long time about this. In my opinion, there are two different ways in which you can fit that storyline. One, when you are going into Mordor but need to cleanse the artifacts to get the Light of Arendil, Wardens are sent back to Annuminas, but there is another class, minstrels, burglars, lore masters, I don't remember, who are sent back to Forohill. At that time, it would make sense to learn about King Arvedui. Even Wardens coming to Annuminas are not that far from Forohill, and they might hear there's something going on and they go to investigate. Or the other option is this one. After completing Angmar Reborn, you just need to take a couple steps to Forohill and investigate what's going on. So I think it's not that far-fetched to believe that Beriathan heard some rumors or maybe some news got to him about something going on in Forohill with the ghost of King Arvedui, and he goes there to investigate. And so we will be taking some time to help Arvedui with some things that he has discovered, that he has long thought about. But after that one, after that little intermission of sorts, we will be going back to Gondor. However, I also plan on recording something extra, something else that I also want to do just for fun, and that is well, riding to Gondor properly. Not only swift traveling, we'll need to swift travel in the end, but I want to take the time to actually ride the Great Road, the Great North-South Road. So that's why we are going to Forohill. We're helping King Arvedui. Then we are going down to Evendim. Beriathan is going to visit Annuminas for the last time. Take a last look to to Elendil City. I don't think there's anything else we can do in Annuminas, but I'm gonna double check my deeds in case there's something that I can complete with little effort before we leave the city. And then we'll take the road. We'll leave Annuminas to the north, coming to Parthaduel, into the North Downs. We're going to follow the road to the gates of Fornost. We're also going to take a last look at Fornost before going south, because God knows how long will it take before we come back here with Aragorn, if ever. I don't know what the game has in store for us, but we're gonna take a last look at Annuminas and Fornost, and then we're gonna take the road south towards Breland. We might stop in the Prancing Pony for a beer or something. There's something else that we might do in the Prancing Pony. Oh my god, I hadn't thought about that. I'll need to think about that before I start recording those episodes. But anyway, we're gonna take the road south to Andrath and then into Cardolan. We're gonna come through Cardolan, all these places that we have already visited during the Before the Shadow playthrough. We're gonna cross the Greenway into Tharbad. We'll need to find a way to cross Tharbad into Swampfleet. And from there we continue following the road. It's a huge road, a long road, the Old South Road, Enedwaith, and from Enedwaith I would say comes here through Dunland. I don't know. No, I think what I was talking about Breland, I don't think we can fit that in here, but maybe I'll talk more to you about that later. Anyway, we come here then to Dunland, and we cross Dunland, not exactly sure where, but it seems through here-ish, until we get to the Gap of Rohan. And from the Gap of Rohan, we come, of course, to the Westemnet, and then to, not Edoras, to the Westfold, to Kingstead, to Endwait, no, to the Eastfold, sorry. We're going to the Eastfold, and then to the Beacon Hills. Oh my god, this doesn't end. We're still so far away. Tower Druadan, then Talath Anor, and finally to the Pelennor and Minas Tirith. I just feel compelled to make that journey on my own instead of swift traveling, just to get a sense of how big really were the kingdoms of Arnor and Gondor during their peak, going from Annúminas to Minas Tirith, which is our destination, of course. Should be going to Osgiliath, that was the capital, but well, Osgiliath is fallen now, so we're going to Minas Tirith, and when we reach Minas Tirith, we can finally answer Aragorn's mail and start the next part of the adventure. What is that mail exactly? Well, if you give me just a moment, I can pull that mail for you in here. But it's gonna take me a minute or two, but I think this is also the perfect time to take a read to that mail, because as I mentioned earlier, everything that we're gonna do now with a Photo Hill and the old north-south road, it's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be also entirely optional. So I much rather read this mail now that we have the chance, so that we are all in the same page in case you decide to skip this that I will be doing for the next couple episodes. So we received a mail from Glindor, the Herald of King Elessar. It's actually a two-part mail. And here I have the second part pulled up for you. But let me read you what this mail says, and well, we'll take it from there. So this is from Glindor, Herald of the King, and is a summons from King Elessar. So the mail says, "Friend of King Elessar and hero of Gondor, the king desires you come to Minas Tirith to attend him on a matter of great import for the kingdom. He summons you to Minas Tirith midsummer as soon as you are able to do so. He bids me tell you that although the war has ended, the hurts done by the forces of Sauron must be addressed, and to accomplish this he needs your capable help. Come see me outside the city stables in Minas Tirith midsummer, and I will bring you to see the king. Glindor, Herald of the King, Minas Tirith midsummer by the city stables." So it's basically an introduction to the next quest, as we have seen before, but it's just to let you know that there is something there as well. And there is also a deed here in the Epic tab. Where is it? Here is a summons from King Elessar. It's just, yeah, a deed to let you know that you should go to Minas Tirith in midsummer, but that's it. So Beriathan receives this mail, but he also hears rumors of something happening in Photo Hill and decides to investigate. So afterwards he can then go to Annúminas and then travel the road until he gets to Minas Tirith. As you have seen in this mail, what Glindor says is basically, come as fast as you can, but if you read between the lines, it also says, if you need to take care of things before you come here, do so. I mean, solve everything you need to do before coming here, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Photo Hill and see what's going on in there. We're gonna learn some interesting truths in there, but I'm not getting ahead of myself on that regard. And then Annúminas, Fornost, Bree, and well, the road that we have just discussed. All that will be coming in the next couple episodes, but for the time being, this has been all on today's episode. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.